Welcome to The Explainer. If you've been paying any attention to enterprise software lately, you know we're right in the middle of a massive tectonic shift. Today, we're breaking down the fierce 2026 AI realignment, basically the all-out battle between Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini. Our goal here? To strip away all that vendor hype and give you the clear, data-driven insights you actually need to make smart infrastructure decisions. Let's get into it.
So, to really grasp where we're at right now, we have to look back at a pretty dramatic flashpoint from February 2026. Look at this stat: a 295% single-day surge in ChatGPT uninstalls. That happened immediately following the announcement of their deployment on classified Pentagon networks. Now, whatever your personal stance is on defense tech, the market reaction was immediate, it was measurable, and it sent absolute shockwaves through the entire industry.
Now, what's really fascinating about this is where all that enterprise momentum actually went. In just a 10-week window in early 2026, Anthropic's Claude captured a staggering 73% of all new enterprise AI spending. I mean, that is widely considered the fastest enterprise market share shift in the history of software.
To cut through the noise, we're going to map out this battleground across 5 key areas: the 2026 AI market shift, battle of the benchmarks, ecosystems and integrations, privacy, trust, and safety, and finally, the dual AI stack strategy.
All right, let's jump right into number 1, the 2026 AI market shift.
Picture this. Back in late 2025, OpenAI and Anthropic were essentially splitting enterprise AI spend right down the middle, a clean 50-50 split. But February 2026 totally flipped the script. That Pentagon deal announcement triggered the whole quit GPT trend. Cue the widespread executive panic, right? Organizations were rapidly reassessing their AI providers. By March, this total market whiplash culminated in Claude hitting number 1 on the App Store and Anthropic reaching an unprecedented $72 billion annualized revenue run rate. So the stakes for choosing the right AI tool today, they have literally never been higher.
Moving on to Section 2, Battle of the Benchmarks. Okay, I know there's a lot of data here, but let's translate this jargon into actual business value. On the SWE bench, which measures real-world coding capability, Claude Opus 4.7 absolutely dominates with 87.6%. So if your competitive advantage relies on engineering, Claude is your clear leader. But check out the GPQA and Apex Agents columns. Gemini 3.1 Pro is right up there, neck and neck in complex science and math reasoning, and actually takes the definitive lead in autonomous multi-step workflows. GPT 5.2 is still a strong contender for sure, but top-tier performance has become highly specialized.
And that specialization, it all comes down to fundamental architectural choices. Anthropic uses what's called an adaptive effort framework. They literally allow the model to hit the brakes and use up its token budget to think, self-verifying and correcting its logic before it spits out an answer. It's built from the ground up for deep accuracy. Google, on the flip side, engineers models like Gemini 3.5 Flash for execution speed, pumping out a blazing 289 tokens per second. It's high throughput, super low latency, and incredibly cost-effective at scale.
Let's look at Section 3, Ecosystems and Integrations. Because let's be real, raw intelligence doesn't mean a whole lot if it doesn't connect to the tools your business is already using every single day. Google completely validated this at I/O 2026. They fired off a dizzying array of updates that embed Gemini deeply into your daily workflows. We got Gemini Omni, which is a true multimodal world model that processes text, audio, image, and video all at the exact same time. We saw Gemini Spark, basically your personal cloud agent that can read your emails and docs to draft updates for your boss, and they wrapped the whole shebang in a super fluid new user interface called Neural Expressive.
When you zoom out, the ecosystem battle lines are clearly drawn. Gemini is this massive sleeper hit because, honestly, if you're already paying for Google Workspace, Gemini is bundled in at no extra cost. It's just native. ChatGPT, meanwhile, essentially owns the Microsoft ecosystem through its Copilot integration. And Claude, they're building for open systems using the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, which lets businesses connect their AI to external tools without getting trapped inside a single mega vendor's walled garden.
So the absolutely crucial point here is how these systems handle the data you're feeding into those integrations. Check out this massive difference in working memory, or context windows. ChatGPT sits at 128,000 tokens. Claude handles up to 1 million, but Gemini? It features a staggering 2 million token context window. That is an absolutely absurd amount of working memory.
It means you can literally drop an entire multi-year archive of financial records or a massive proprietary code base into the AI all at once for instant analysis.
Which brings us perfectly into Section 4, Privacy, Trust, and Safety.
If you're going to be uploading your entire codebase or years of highly sensitive legal documents, enterprise deployment demands structural trust. For organizations in heavily regulated spaces like healthcare or legal, security can't just be a marketing promise. It has to be baked right into the code. This is exactly why Anthropic developed constitutional AI. Instead of just manually playing whack-a-mole to patch bad behavior, they embed safety principles directly into the model's core training framework. The result is an AI that is roughly 10 times more resistant to jailbreaks and misuse.
And that structural safety extends right to their privacy postures, which contrast pretty starkly. With Claude, from the Pro tier upward, the default setting is that they do not train on your user data. You don't even have to think about it. With ChatGPT's free and plus tiers, they train on user data by default, and you have to actively remember to go in and opt out. When your employees are using these tools day in and day out, relying on them to remember to click an opt-out button is frankly a massive compliance risk.
Furthermore, there's a really distinct divergence in the geopolitical and strategic alignment of these companies. OpenAI is actively pursuing classified defense contracts in military applications. Anthropic, conversely, strictly prohibits the use of its models for domestic surveillance or the development of autonomous weaponry. Now, we aren't here to say one strategy is right and the other is wrong, but this is a factual divergence that is causing different enterprises and federal agencies to carefully realign their choices based on their own corporate governance and risk profiles.
All right, bringing it all together with Section 5, the dual AI stack strategy. With such distinct strengths across performance, ecosystems, and trust, smart businesses have realized something important. They shouldn't just pick one. Here's how this builds into an actionable architecture for your own business. The modern enterprise standard is the dual AI stack. Step 1 is deploying Claude as your thinking layer. You use it for deep document analysis, writing complex code, and reviewing legal contracts where accuracy and safety are absolutely paramount. Step 2 is deploying ChatGPT or Gemini as your ecosystem layer. You leverage them for creative brainstorming, multimodal image and video tasks, or just seamless integrations right inside your existing Google or Microsoft workflows.
Now, you might be thinking, whoa, paying for multiple AIs sounds expensive. But let's look at the actual numbers. A dual stack of Claude Pro and ChatGPT Plus is about $40 a month per user. If you already use Google Workspace, adding Claude Team makes it just $39. Even outfitting an employee with a full triple stack is only $55 a month. For a tool set that recovers 5 to 10 hours of productivity per person per week, this investment easily pays for itself before lunch on Monday.
So I'll leave you with this final, provocative question. Is your 2026 AI infrastructure built on chasing the latest viral vendor hype, or are you strategically deploying a dual AI stack tailored to your actual business workflows? It is time to audit your tools, utilize these models for what they are specifically engineered to do, and empower your team to do the absolute best work of their lives. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.